It was a stormy night in Brooklyn. Everyone was asleep except the Brewster sisters. They stayed up all night making elderberry wine. Now, why did they do that, you ask? Well, listen to our story and see.
Yes, indeed. My sister Martha and I have been talking all week about your sermon last Sunday. Reverend Harper, you have taken on the spirit of Brooklyn.
That's very gratifying, Miss Brewster.
You know, living next to the church all our lives has been very uplifting.
Personally, I've always enjoyed my talks with Cardinal Gibbons. Have I met him yet?
No, dear, not yet.
No.
Are the biscuits good?
Oh, bully, bully.
Oh, have another biscuit, Dr. Harper?
Oh, no, I'm afraid I'll have no appetite for dinner now.
Oh, I do hope they don't make us use that imitation flour again. Oh, you know, with all this war trouble and everything, it may not be very charitable of me, but I have almost come to the conclusion that this Mr. Hitler is not a Christian.
If only Europe were on another planet.
Europe, sir.
Well, yes, Teddy.
Point your gun in the other direction.
Gun?
To the west. There's your enemy, Japan.
Oh, yes, yes, of course.
Okay.
No, not so much talk about Europe, Aunt Tabby. More about the canal.
Well, let's not talk about war. Another cup of tea.
No, no, thank you, Aunt Tabby.
Reverend Harper?
Oh, no, thank you. I must admit, Miss Abby, that war and violence are far removed from this house. The gentle virtues that went out with candlelight and good manners, low taxes are all here.
Well, it's one of the oldest houses in Brooklyn. It's just as it was when Grandfather Brewster built and furnished it, except for the electricity, and we use that as little as possible. Mortimer persuaded us to put it in.
Your nephew Mortimer seems to live only by electric light.
Oh, the poor boy has to work so late. I understand he's taking a lane with him to the theater again tonight. Teddy, your brother Mortimer will be here a little later.
Delighted.
We're so happy that it's Elaine that Mortimer takes to the theater with him.
Well, it's a new experience for me to wait up till 3 o'clock in the morning for my daughter to be brought home.
Oh, I hope you don't disapprove of Mortimer. We'd feel so guilty if you did, Sister Martha and I mean, since it was in our home that your daughter met Mortimer.
Well, I must admit, I've watched the growing intimacy between your nephew and my daughter with some trepidation. For one reason, Miss Annie.
You mean his stomach, Dr. Harper?
Stomach?
His dyspepsia. He's bothered with it so. Poor boy.
No, I'm speaking of his unfortunate connection with the theater.
The theater? Oh, no, Dr. Harper. Mortimer hates the theater.
I know. But a dramatic critic is constantly exposed to the theater, And some of them do develop an interest in it.
Well, not Mortimer. He hates the theater.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes, he writes awful things about the theater. He was so happy writing about real estate. And then they made him take this terrible night position. But as he says, the theater won't last much longer anyway, and in the meantime, it's a living. Yes, I do think that if we give the theater another year or two, perhaps. Now, who do you suppose that can do? No, thank you, Teddy. I'll go.
Hello, Miss Brewster.
Come in, Mr. Brophy. How are you, Mr.
Very
Clark?
well, Miss Brewster.
Gentlemen, what news have you brought me?
Corner, we have nothing to report.
Splendid, splendid. At ease, gentlemen.
Oh, you know Reverend Harper?
Sure, hello, Dr. Hopper.
We've come for the toys for the Christmas fund.
Oh,
Oh, that's splendid work you men do, fixing up discarded toys for children.
It gives us something to do. We get tired of playing cards, so we start cleaning our guns. And the first thing you know, we shoot ourselves in the foot.
Teddy, go upstairs and get that big box from Aunt Martha's room. How is Mrs. Brophy today? Mrs. Brophy has been quite ill.
Oh.
She's better now. A little weak still, but you know what.
Well, I'm going to get some beef broth for you to take to her.
Oh, don't bother, Miss Abby. You've done so much for her already.
Sister Martha's taking some to that poor Mr. Benitsky right now. I won't be a minute.
She shouldn't go to all that trouble.
Listen, try to stop them from doing something nice.
Your wife died, and months before. Well, if I know what pure kindness and absolute generosity are, it's because I've known the Brewster sisters.
Corner, you promised not to do that.
I must call a cabinet meeting.
You used to do that in the middle of the night. The neighbors raised Cain with it.
Well, suppose he does think you said he was. There's a lot of ways people can think he was.
Damn shame a nice family like this hatching a cuckoo.
Teddy's grandfather, the old girl's father, well, he was some sort of genius, wasn't he? And their brother, seems to me I heard he was a little crazy, too.
Yeah, he was a quack of some sort. Used the house here as sort of a clinic to try out patent medicine.
Yeah? I hear he used to make mistakes, too.
Oh, the department never bothered him much because he was pretty useful on autopsies.
Well,
Especially poison cases.
whatever he did, he left his daughters fixed for life.
Not today, but spending the element on themselves, you
Oh, yes, I'm well acquainted with their charities.
You don't know a tenth of it. Where are you trying to guide? Find a guy we never did find. And do you know something? There's a place that's got this down on its list for rented rooms. They don't rent rooms here. But you can bet, anybody here looking for a room, they go away with a lot of money in their pocket.
It's just their way of digging up people to do some good to.
Yes, I am sure acquainted with their charities.
They're really nice women. Well, how have you been, Reverend?
Isn't this nice?
Good afternoon, Miss Brewster.
Good afternoon, Mr. Brophy. Hey, Dr. Harper, Mr. Klein, I'm so
How are you, Miss
late.
We came for the Christmas toy.
Oh, yes, Teddy's Army and Navy. Well, you're all packed. Let me go right on
Oh,
up
the
and get
corner's upstairs after it seems the cabinet has to okay it.
Oh, yes, of course. I hope Mrs. Brophy's feeling better.
Oh, she's doing fine, ma'am. Your sister's getting me some soup to take to her.
Oh, yes, we made it this morning. I just finished bringing some to a dear old man who broke ever so many bones. Oh, you're back, Martha. How's Mr. Benitsky? Well, dear, I'm afraid it's very serious. The doctor was there, and they say they're going to amputate in the morning. Can we be there? I asked the doctor said, oh, it was against the rules of the hospital.
But you could be of no service, and you must spare yourself something.
Oh, this'll be fine. It'll make a lot of kids happy. That O'Malley boy is nuts about soldiers.
That's General Miles, not retired him. What's this? The Oregon!
Teddy, dear, put it back.
But the Oregon goes to Australia.
Oh, Teddy.
I gave my word to Fighting Bob Evans.
Why, Teddy, dear.
What difference what kid gets it? Bobby Evans, Izzy Cohen? Well, thank you very much, ma'am. We'll be running along.
Oh, not at all.
They always take everything.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
When the circus came to town,
be getting home.
Oh, before you go, Doc.
Time to blockhouse! The blockhouse?
Oh, the stairs are always San Juan Hill.
Have you ever tried to persuade him that he wasn't Teddy Roosevelt?
Oh, no. Oh, no, he enjoys being Teddy Roosevelt so. Once a long time ago, we thought that if he beat George Washington, it might be a pleasant change for him, but he stayed under his bed for days, and he just wouldn't be anybody.
Well, if he's happy, then what's more important, you're happy. Oh, you'll see that he signs this.
Oh, what is that? What is that? Oh, Dr. Harper has made all the arrangements for Teddy to go to Happy Dale Sanitarium after we pass on.
It's better to have it all settled. If the Lord should take you away suddenly, we might not be able to persuade him to commit himself. And Mr. Witherspoon understands that he's to file it away until the time comes to use it.
Mr. Witherspoon? Who's he?
Oh, he's the superintendent at Happy Dale.
Oh, Reverend Harper's arranged for him to come tomorrow and meet Teddy.
Well, I must be getting home. Or Elaine will be looking for me.
Well, give our love to Elaine. And Dr. Harper, don't think harshly of Mortimer because he's a dramatic critic. Somebody has to do those things.
Abby, are you just having tea? Isn't it a little late?
Yes, and dinner's going to be late, too. So, what? Teddy, good news for you. You're going to Panama and dig another lock for the canal.
Bully, that's just bully. I shall prepare at once for the journey.
Honey, while I was out? Yes, dear. I couldn't wait for you. I didn't know when you'd be back, and Dr. Harper was coming.
Well, I must run right downstairs and
Oh,
say.
no. There wasn't time when I was all alone.
Oh,
Well, that's fine. Look in the window seat. Elaine. Oh, come in, dear.
Good afternoon, Miss Abby. Good afternoon, Miss Martha. I thought Father was here.
he just this minute left. Didn't you see him?
No, I took the shortcut to the cemetery. Mortimer hasn't come in.
No, dear.
Oh, he asked me to meet him here. Do you mind if I wait?
Oh, not at all,
Why
dear.
don't you sit down?
We really must talk to Mortimer about what he's doing to you.
Doing what?
Well, he was brought up to know better than what he's doing. When a gentleman is going to take a young lady out, the least he can do is to take her out at her home.
Oh, there's something about calling for a lady at a parsonage that discourages any man who doesn't embroider.
He's done this too often. We're going to speak to him.
Oh, please don't. After young men whose idea of nightlife is to take me to prayer meeting, it's wonderful to go to the theater almost every night of my life.
Well, it's a comfort for us too, dear, to know that if Mortimer has to see some of those plays he has to see, at least he's sitting next to a minister's daughter.
Elaine, what must you think? Us not having the tea things cleared away by this time.
Abby, don't finish the tea things until I come into the kitchen. Until Mortimer leaves, all right, dear? Mortimer should be here at any moment.
Yes. Father must have been surprised not to find me at home. I'd better run over and say goodnight to him.
It's a shame you miss him, dear.
I'll be right back. If Mortimer comes, tell him I'll be right back.
Oh, hello, Mort.
Hello, Elaine. Hello, Aunt Martha.
Abby, Mortimer's here.
Were you going somewhere?
I was just going over to tell Father not to wait up for me tonight.
I didn't know that was still being done, even in Brooklyn.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello, Aunt Abby.
How are you, dear?
I'm fine. You're looking well. You haven't changed much since yesterday.
Oh, my goodness. That was yesterday, wasn't it? We haven't seen a lot of you lately. Come and sit down. Sit down.
Abby, did you forget something, dear?
Huh?
The tea things?
Oh, yes, the tea things. You just make yourselves at home.
Yes, just make yourselves right at home.
Well, can't you take a hint?
No, that was pretty obvious. A lack of inventiveness, I should
That's
say.
exactly what you say.
Where do you want to go for dinner?
I don't care. I'm not very hungry.
Well, I just had breakfast. Suppose we wait until after the show.
That'll make it pretty late, won't it?
From what I hear about this little stinker, we should be at Blake's by 10 o'clock.
I've never seen you walk out on a musical.
That musical isn't opening tonight.
No.
Darling, you'll have to learn the rules. With a musical, there are always 3 postponements. They liked it in New Haven, but it needs a lot of work.
Oh, I was hoping it was a musical.
You have such a light mind.
Not a bit. Musicals somehow have a humanizing effect on you. After a musical, you bring me home in a taxi and you make a few passes.
Now, wait a minute, darling. That's a very inaccurate piece of reporting.
Not at all. Oh, I will admit that after the Behrman play, you told me I had authentic beauty. It wasn't until after our first musical you told me I had nice legs, and I have, too.
For a minister's daughter, you know a lot about life. Where'd you learn it?
In the choir loft.
I'll explain that to you sometime, darling. The close connection between eroticism and religion.
Religion never gets as high as the choir loft. Which reminds me, I better run over and tell Father not to wait up for me tonight.
I've never been able to rationalize it.
What?
My falling in love with a girl from Brooklyn.
Falling in love? You're not stooping to the articulate, are you?
The only way I can regain my self-respect is to keep you in New York.
Did you say keep?
No, I've come to the conclusion that you're holding out for the legalities.
Oh, yes. I can afford to be a good girl for quite a few years yet.
And I can't wait that long. Where can we be married in a hurry? Say tonight.
I'm afraid Father would insist on officiating.
Oh, God. I bet your father could even make the marriage service sound pedestrian.
Are you by any chance writing a review of it?
Well, forgive me, darling. It's an occupational hazard. I may give that play tonight a good note.
Now, darling, don't pretend you love me that much.
Tell your father not to wait up for you tonight.
I think tonight I better tell him to wait up for me.
I'll telephone Winchell to publish the bands.
Nevertheless.
All right, everything formal and legal, but no later than next month.
Oh, I'll talk it over with Father and set the date.
No, we better see what's in rehearsal. There'll be a lot of other first nights in October.
Hello, Mortimer!
How are you, Mr. President?
Bully, just bully. What news have you brought me?
Justice, Mr. President. The country is squarely behind you.
Yes, I know. Isn't it wonderful? Well, goodbye. Goodbye.
Where are you off to, Teddy?
Panama!
Panama's the cellar. We let him dig locks for the canal down there.
You're so sweet with him, and he's very fond of you.
Well, Teddy always was my favorite brother.
Favorite? Were there more of you?
There's another brother, Jonathan.
I've never heard of him. Your aunts never mentioned him.
No, we don't like to talk about Jonathan. He left Brooklyn very early, by request. Jonathan was the type of boy who liked to cut worms into with his teeth. I don't know. He wanted to be a doctor like grandfather, but he wouldn't go to medical school first, and his practice got him into a bit of trouble.
Aren't you two going to be late for the picnic?
Oh, we're not. We're skipping dinner. We won't have to leave for half an hour.
Oh, well, in that case, I'll leave you two alone again together.
Don't bother, darling. I was just going to run over and speak to Father. Before I go out with you, he likes to pray over me a little. I'll be right back. I'm going to cut through the cemetery.
If the prayer isn't too long, I'd have time to lead you beside distilled water.
That's the first time I've heard you quote the Bible. Me too. It would be a good influence for you. Come in here. I think it's time we told Mortimer something important. Love is where you find it. It's not in a dream. Love is where you find it.
Love is where you find it. It's
almost enough to make me forget that horrible matinee I saw this afternoon. I saw the worst imitation of the Andrews sisters I have ever seen.
How bad was it?
They called themselves the Andrettes.
No matter what happens to the three of us, we're still sisters and friends. They may try to part us, we'll end us dry. I'm gonna love you till the day I die. No matter what happens to the three of us, we're still sisters and friends. No matter what happens to the three of us, we're still sisters and friends. Patty, Maxine, and Univer too. That do us part, we're gonna be true. No matter what happens to the three of us, we're still sisters and friends.
The vanishing species. By the way, I left a large envelope around here last week. It was one of the chapters on my book on Thoreau. Have you seen it?
Well, no, but if you left it here, it's got to be here somewhere. Mortimer, when are you going to be married? What are your plans? There must be something more you can tell us about Elaine. Yours.
Oh, yes, Elaine thought it was brilliant.
What was it?
My chapter on Thoreau.
Well, when Elaine comes back, I think we ought to have a celebration. My, isn't there some of that Lady Baltimore cake left? Oh, yes! I'll open up a bottle of wine. And to think, it all happened right here in this room.
Where can I ever put that?
Oh, Mortimer, since you'll be sitting next to the fiancé tonight, I do hope that play's something you'll enjoy for a change. Maybe it'll be something romantic. What's the name of it?
Murder Will Out. When the curtain goes up, the first thing you'll see will be a dead body. I'm Abby. You were going to make plans for Teddy to go to that sanitarium, Happydale.
Oh, yes, dear, it's all arranged. Dr. Harper was here today, and he brought the papers for Teddy this time. Here.
Oh, he's got to sign these right away.
But that's what Dr. Harper thinks.
No, I mean now, tonight. He's down in the cellar. Call him up here.
Oh, there's no such hurry as that, dear. Oh, no. When Teddy's working on the canal, you can't get his mind on anything.
Teddy has to go to Happydale now, tonight.
Oh, no, dear, that's not until after we're gone.
Right away, I tell you, right away.
Now, Mortimer, as long as we live, we'll not be separated from Teddy.
I'm frightfully sorry, darlings, but I've got some shocking news for you. Now, we've all got to try to keep our heads. You know we've always sort of humored Teddy because we thought he was harmless.
Well, he is harmless, dear.
He was harmless. That's why he has to go to Happydale. Why he has to be confined.
Mortimer, why did you suddenly turn against Teddy, your own brother?
Well, we've got to know sometime. Teddy's killed a man.
Nonsense, dear.
There's a body in the window seat.
Oh, yes, we know.
You know.
Yes, but it has nothing to do with Teddy. You just forget all about it. Forget you ever saw the gentleman.
Forget?
I never dreamed he'd peek.
Well, who is he?
His name is Hoskins, Adam Hoskins. That's really all I know about him, except that he's a Methodist.
That's all you know about him. Well, what happened to him?
He died.
And Martha men do not just walk into window seats and die.
No, he died first.
Well, how?
Mortimer, don't be so inquisitive. The gentleman died because he drank some wine with poison in it.
How did the poison get in the wine?
Well, we put it in wine because it's less noticeable. When it's in tea, it has an escaped color.
You put it in the wine?
Yes, and I put Mr. Hoskins in the window seat because Reverend Harper was coming.
So, you knew what you'd done. You didn't want Dr. Harper to see the body.
Gee, that wouldn't be whole thing, just forget about it. I do think Martha and I have a right to our own little secret.
And don't tell Elaine. Martha, Mrs. Schultz is feeling much better, and she would like Junior to take us to the movies again.
Oh, we must do that tomorrow or the next day.
Yes, only this time he's not going to drag me into another one of those scary movies.
City desk. Hello, Al. Do you know who this is? That's right. Say, Al, when I left the office, I told you where I was going, remember? Well, where did I say? Uh-huh. Well, it would take me about half an hour to get to Brooklyn. What time have you got? That's right. I must be here. Aunt Abby, Aunt Martha, come in here. What are we going to do?
What are we going to do about what?
There's a body in there!
Oh, yes, Mr. Hoskins.
Oh, my goodness, I can't turn you over to the police, but what am I going to do?
Well, the first thing you can do is stop being so excited.
We told you to forget the whole thing.
My dear Aunt Abby, can't I make you realize that something has to be done?
Now, Mortimer, you're much too old to be flying off the handle like this.
But Mr. Hotchkiss is lying! Well, whatever his name is, you can't just leave him there.
We don't intend to, dear.
Oh, Teddy's down in the cellar now, digging a lot.
You're going to bury Mr. Hotchkiss in the cellar?
Certainly, dear, along with all the others.
No, you can't Others?
The other gentleman.
When you say others, do you mean others? More than one others?
Certainly, dear. This makes 11, doesn't it, Abby?
No, dear, this makes 12.
Oh, I think you're wrong, Abby. Well, of course, you're counting the first one.
Well, I was counting the first one, so that makes it 12.
Oh, hello, Al. My, it's good to hear your voice.
Anyway, they're all in the cellar.
No, Al, I'm as sober as a lark. But look, you've got to get a hold of George. He's got to cover that play tonight. I can't make it. That's all there is to it. Just get a hold of George. Let's see now. Where were we? 12?
Yes, dear. Abby thinks we ought to count the first one, so that makes 12.
All right, now, who was the first?
Oh, Mr. Midgley, dear. He was a Baptist.
I really don't think we ought to count him because, after all, he just died.
Oh, Martha means without any help for mine. You see, Mr. Midgley came here looking for a room.
This was after you moved back to the yard.
And it did seem a shame to let that lovely room go to waste when there were so many people who needed it.
He was such a lonely old man.
Oh, all his kith and kin were dead. That left him so forlorn and lonely.
We felt so sorry for him.
And when he had his heart attack and sat dead in that chair. Remember, Martha? Oh, we decided then and there, if we could help other lonely men, we would.
He dropped dead right in that chair? How awful for you.
Oh, no, dear. Your grandfather used to have a gazelle or two around the house all the time. And Teddy thought he was another yellow fever victim, so we brought him down to Panama.
And that meant he had to be buried immediately.
So we brought him down to Panama and put him in the loft. And that's why we told you not to worry.
And that's how all this started. That man walking in here and dropping dead?
Well, of course, we realized we couldn't depend on it happening again. So, so Martha, use some of those.
Well, remember those jars of poison in Grandfather's laboratory?
And you know her knack for mixing.
Well, this is how we make it. First, you take a little pinch of this, and then you take a little pinch of that, and the secret ingredient, arsenic. Take a little arsenic, and then we add a little arsenic. A little arsenic. Arsenic.
That had quite a kick.
As a matter of fact, one of our gentlemen found time to say, how delicious. That reminds me, I better get things started in the kitchen. Oh, Mortimer, I wish you could stay for dinner.
I couldn't eat a thing.
I'll be out and help you, dear. Well, I feel so much better now. Oh, Mortimer, you have to wait for Elaine, don't you? Well, I'll just leave you alone with your thoughts.
Teddy! 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 Come up here.
Father said he's not going to wait up for me tonight.
Look, Elaine, you run along home and I'll fly up to you in a day or so.
Tomorrow?
You know, I always call you every day or so. Come
We're
on.
going to the theater.
No,
tomorrow.
dear, no, we're not.
Why not?
Look, Elaine, something's come up.
What, Mort? You lost your job.
No, I'm just not covering that play tonight. Now, you run along home, Elaine.
Nothing's happened. Certainly you can tell me.
No, dear, I
We're
can't.
going to be married in your...
Married?
Have you forgotten that not 15 minutes ago you proposed to me?
Did? Oh, yes, well, I suppose that's still on. But look, dear, you gotta go home.
You can't propose to me 1 minute. Throw me out of the house tonight.
I'm not throwing out the house. Now, we get out of
I'm
here.
not going anywhere by that some kind of explanation. When we were children, you used to say, I love you, come on, let's play. Why can't you say it again, my dear? You know I'll always love you. Why can't we be together like people do? Why can't I be with you for my whole life through? Why can't we be together like people do? Why can't you love me as much as I love you? You know I'll always love you, dear. Yes, I'll always have that nothing makes me say I want to stick around. Why can't we be together like people do? Why can't you love me half as much as I love you? Why can't we be together like people do? Tell me this, my dear, why can't we fall in love?
Elaine! Don't sit there! Oh. Hello? Oh, yeah, hold on a second now, will you? Okay, it's important, but it can wait. Hold on. Look, Elaine, you're a sweet girl, and I love you very much. Now, I want you to go home and wait until I call you.
Don't try to be masterful.
When we're married, then I have problems to face. I hope you're less tedious and uninspired.
And when we're married, if we're married, I hope I find you adequate.
Elaine!
I've lost my love, I've lost my own my love, but not forever. You'll be my rock that's clear to see. You'll be my heart with me. You'll be my heart with me.
Hello, Al. Hello. Aunt Abby, Aunt Martha, come in here. You just can't go around killing people. It's not only against the law, it's wrong. It's not a nice thing to do.
Abby, I told you we shouldn't have told Mortimer. Mortimer, don't try to stop you from doing things you want to do. I don't see why you should interfere with us.
Hello. All right. I'll see the first act and I'll pan the hell out of it. But look, Al, you've got to do me a favor. Get a hold of O'Brien, our lawyer. Have him meet me at the theater. All right. Don't let me down now. Okay, I'm leaving now. Look, I've got to go to the theater. But before I leave, I want you to promise to do something for me.
Well, it would depend upon what it was.
I love you very much. And I know that you love me. And I want you to do just this one little favor for me.
Well, what do you want us to do?
Don't do anything. I mean, don't do anything. Don't let anyone in this house and leave Mr. Hoskins right where he is.
Why?
Because I need time to think. I've got quite a little to think about. You know I wouldn't want anything to happen to you.
Oh, what on earth would happen to us?
Anyway, you'll do this for me, won't you?
Well, we're going to hold services after dinner.
Services?
Why, certainly. Mr. Hoskins was a Methodist. We're going to hold a full Methodist burial service.
Couldn't that wait until after I get back?
Oh, then you could join us. Oh, much.
Anyway, you won't let anyone in this house while I'm gone. It's a promise.
Well, we can do it now that Mortimer's cooperating. All right, Mortimer.
Have you got any paper?
Oh, I have some stationery. Will that do?
That'll be fine. I can save time if I write my review on the way to the theater.
Mortimer wasn't himself today. It's only natural. I think I can understand why. Why? Well, he just got engaged to be married. I suppose that always makes a man nervous. Well, yes, I guess, but she should be the happiest girl in the world. Oh, Abby, if Mortimer's going to come back for the service, then we need another prayer book. There's one upstairs right in the room. I'll go get it.
Oh, Martha, you know it's really my turn to read the services, but since you weren't here when Mr. Hoskins came, I want you to do it.
Oh, that's very nice of you, dear. Are you sure?
It's only fair.
Well, I think I'll wear my black bombazine and Mother's old brooch.
I'll get it.
No. Remember what Mortimer said, don't you?
Who do you suppose it is?
I don't know. Look. It's two men, and they're strangers to me.
Are you sure?
Yeah, there's a car parked at the curb. They must have come in there. Well, let me look. Do you recognize them?
No, they're strangers to me, too.
Well, let's just make believe that we're not at home.
Come in, Doctor. This is the home of my youth. As a boy, I couldn't wait to escape from it. Now I'm glad to escape back into it.
Ah, Johnny, it's a fine hideout.
The family must still live here. There's something so unmistakably Brewster about the Brewsters. I hope there's a fatted calf awaiting the return of the prodigal.
I'm hungry, too. Look, Johnny, drinks.
As though we were expected.
Who are you?
Why, Aunt Abby. Aunt Martha, it's Jonathan.
You just get out of here!
But I'm your nephew, Jonathan.
Oh, no, you're not. You're nothing like Jonathan. You just get out of here.
But I am Jonathan. And this is Dr. Einstein.
He's not Dr. Einstein, huh?
Not Dr. Albert Einstein, Dr. Herman Einstein.
Who are you? You're not our nephew Jonathan.
I still see you wearing the lovely garnet ring that Grandma Brewster bought you in England. And you, Aunt Martha, still the high collar to hide the scar where grandfather's acid burned you.
Abby? That's Jonathan's laugh. Have you been in an accident?
No, my face. Dr. Einstein is responsible for that. He's a plastic surgeon.
Abby, remember that movie that we took the little Schultz boy to? The one that I was so frightened? It's that face!
Easy, Johnny. Easy. Don't worry, lady. I give Johnny another face right away. I've given him 3 new faces in the last 5 years. I saw that picture too, right before I operate, and I was intoxicated.
You see, Doctor, you see what you've done to me, even my own family.
Johnny, you know it's Jonathan. Speak to him.
Well, Jonathan, it's been a long time. What have you been doing all these years?
Yes, Jonathan. Where have you been?
Oh, South Africa, Australia, Spain, the last 5 years Chicago. Dr. Einstein and I were in business together.
Oh, we've been to Chicago, to the World's Fair. Yes, we found Chicago awfully warm.
Yeah, it got hot for us too.
Well, it's wonderful to be in Brooklyn again. And you, Abby, Martha, you don't look a day older. Just as I remembered you. Sweet, charming, and hospitable. And dear Teddy, did he ever get into politics? My little brother, Doctor, was determined to become president.
Teddy's fine. Just fine. Mortimer's well, too.
I know about Mortimer. I've seen the picture at the head of his column. He's evidently fulfilled all the promise of his nasty nature.
We're very fond of Mortimer.
It was very nice to have seen you, Johnny.
Bless you, Aunt Martha. It's good to be home again.
Oh, Martha, we mustn't let what's on the stove boil over. Yes. If you'll excuse us, unless, of course, you have someplace else to go.
Well, Johnny, where do we go from here? Now that we are in Brooklyn, what do we do, Johnny? Tired of running. Are you tired too? What do we do? Johnny, what do we do?
Why don't you shut your mouth, you little shrimp? Or I'll make mincemeat out of you. We came to do the job we came to do, and I will be until it's done. And you whine and carry on till you're blue in the face. I don't care what you say.
But now that we're here in Brooklyn, you can answer my question. What do we do, Johnny? Johnny, what do we do?
For the last time, I'll tell you we're going to do what we came to
Johnny, we got to think fast. The police have got pictures of that face. We got to operate on you right away. Johnny, got a hot stiff on our hands.
Forget Mr. Spinaldo.
Johnny, we can't leave a dead body in the rumble seat. You shouldn't have killed him.
He said I look like Boris Karloff. That's your fault, Doctor. You did that to me.
Johnny, I give you another. I'll find a place. I'll give you another place. Right away.
Tonight?
No, Johnny, not tonight. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I'm weak.
Well, Jonathan, we're very happy that you remembered us and took the trouble to come in and say hello. Now, we should come in to say goodbye.
Aunt Abby, I can't say that your feeling towards me comes as a great surprise. I spent a great many hours regretting the many heartaches I must have given you as a child.
You were quite a trial to us, Jonathan.
But my great disappointment is for Dr. Einstein. I promise I'd take the time to bring him here for one of Aunt Martha's home-cooked dinners.
Oh, no, Jonathan, I'm afraid there wouldn't be enough. Oh, Abby, the pot roast is quite large.
Pot roast?
The least we can do is...
Thank you, Aunt Martha. We'll stay to dinner.
And if you'd like to freshen up, why don't you use the washroom in Grandfather Brewster's old laboratory?
Is that still there?
Oh, yes, just as it was. Well, I'll help Martha get things ready since we're all in a hurry.
Grandfather's laboratory. And just as it was, Doctor, a perfect operating room.
Yeah. Too bad we can't use it.
Why, when you finish with me, we could make a fortune here. And Brooklyn is crying for your talents.
But Johnny, your aunts, they don't want us here.
We're here for dinner, aren't we?
Yeah, but after dinner.
Doctor, leave it to me. Why, this house will be our headquarters for years.
Oh, this house is so beautiful, so peaceful. Those are sweet old ladies. I love them already. Get the badge, yeah?
Doctor, we must wait until we're invited.
But you just said that...
Doctor will be invited.
But if they...
Doctor, two helpless old women.
It's like comes through a beautiful dream. This house, oh, it's so peaceful.
That's what makes it so perfect for us. It's so peaceful.
Mark, I give you a mantle.
I brought my own thing.
Yellow fever, that's what we've got. Yellow fever, that's what we've got. Yellow fever, that's yellow fever, that's yellow fever, that's yellow fever, that's yellow fever, yellow fever, yellow fever, yellow fever, yellow fever, that's what we've got. Yellow fever, that's what we've got. Straight from Chicago amongst the happiest enthusiasts in my life.
And from Chicago, we go to South Bend, Indiana.
They would be interested in our experience in Indiana, Doctor.
Well, Jonathan, you've led a very interesting life, I'm sure, but we really shouldn't have let you talk so much.
My meeting Dr. Einstein in London, I might say, changed the whole course of my life. I always wanted to go back to South Africa, and Dr. Einstein made it possible for me.
Yeah, good job, Johnny. When we take off the bandages, his face looks so different. The nurse had to introduce me.
I love that face. I love that former face. I carry the picture with me. You lost my face. You lost my former face. Tiny, return it to me. They say I resemble Boris Karloff. I'll have to admit, I don't think they're far off. I don't want to look like Boris Karloff. The person that I want to be is me or someone else.
I'll find your face. I'll find your former face. Or maybe a better face. It's what you need. Your former face won't even have a place compared to the face for which you plead. Love that face.
I like that former face. Carry the picture with me.
Love that face.
I love that former face. Where, oh, where can it be? Where, oh, where can it be? Return that face to me. Return that face to me. Return that face to
Well, I'm sure you want to get to where you're going. Yes, it's getting late and...
My dear Aunt, I'm so full. I'm unable to dance another tango.
Yeah, I don't think I can dance anymore either.
I found it. I found it.
What did you find, Teddy?
The story of my life. My biography. Here's the picture I was telling you about, General. There. See, that's you there, and that's me.
My, how I've changed.
Well, you see, that picture hasn't been taken yet. We're still digging locks in Panama for the canal. And now, General, you will follow me and accompany me on inspection of the lock.
No, no, not the camera.
We go some other time. Panama's a long way off.
Nonsense, it's just down in the cellar.
The cellar?
We let him put Panama in the cellar.
General, as President of the United States, I demand you accompany me to those locks.
Teddy, I think it's time you went to bed.
I beg your pardon. Who are you?
I'm Woodrow Wilson. Go to bed.
You're not Wilson. But your face is familiar. Let me see now. I don't know you now. Perhaps later. Yes, on my trip to Africa. You look like someone I might meet in the jungle.
This is your brother Jonathan.
Yes, he's had his face changed.
So that's it. I'm nature faker.
Better go to bed, Teddy. Jonathan and his friend have to go back to their hotel.
General Goggles, inspect the canal.
All right, Mr. President. We go to Panama.
Bully. Follow me, General. It's down south, you know.
Well, bon voyage.
Aunt Arby, I must correct your misapprehension. We have no hotel. We came directly here.
Oh, well, there's a very nice hotel.
Aunt Martha, this is my home.
Jonathan, I'm afraid you can't stay here. We need our rooms for our lodgers.
Are there lodgers in this house?
Not right at this moment, but we expect
Then
some.
my old room is still free.
No, Jonathan, I'm afraid you can't stay here.
Aunt Abby, you remember that as a boy I could be very disagreeable. I wouldn't think it'd be very pleasant for any of us if I was to...
Abby, maybe we ought to let him spend one night.
Well, just overnight, Jonathan.
That's settled. Now if you'll get my room ready.
It just needs to have freshening up.
We keep it ready to show our lodgers. I think you and Dr. Einstein will find it comfortable.
You have a most distinguished guest in Dr. Einstein. In a few weeks you'll see me looking like a very different Jonathan.
He can't operate on you here.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. We're turning grandfather's laboratory into an operating room.
No, Jonathan, we will not let you turn this house into a hospital.
A hospital? Heavens no, it will be a beauty parlor.
Johnny, down in the cellar.
Dr. Einstein, my aunts have invited us to live with them.
Oh, you fixed it, eh?
Well, we're sleeping here for tonight.
Johnny, when I go down in the cellar, what do you think I find?
What?
The Panama Canal.
Ah, the Panama Canal.
It's a whole teddy dog. It just fits Mr. Spinalzo.
Down there.
Yeah, you'd think they knew that we were bringing him along. That's hospitality.
Rather a good joke on my aunt. They're living in a house with a body buried in the cellar.
How could you get him in?
Yes, we just can't tangle him through the door. We'll drive the car up between the house and the cemetery, and when they've gone to bed, we'll spring Mr. Spinalzo in through the window seat.
Bed. Just think. Tonight, we got a bed.
Easy, doctor. Remember, you're operating tomorrow, and this time you better be sober.
Jonathan, your room is ready.
Then you and Aunt Martha can go to bed. I'm bringing the car up behind the house.
Oh, it's all right where it is.
I don't want to leave it in the street. That might be against the law.
Abby, what are we going to do?
Well, we're not going to let them stay more than one night in this house, for one thing. What would the neighbors think? They were coming in here with one face and going out with another.
No, but what about Mr. Hoskins?
I think we better have Teddy taken down the cellar right away.
Well, I'm not going to invite Jonathan to the services.
Oh, no. We'll wait until they've gone to bed, and then we'll come down and hold service.
Teddy, we need to bless the body. We need to bless the body. Run away, Teddy. We need to bless the body. We need to bless the body before we fly it away. Teddy, I want you to make this clear. Teddy, I want you to listen here.
Auntie, we need to bless the body. We need to bless the body right away. Auntie, we need to bless the body. We need to bless the body before we lay him away. General Goldfuss was very pleased. He says the canal was just the right size.
Oh, Teddy, this is another yellow fever victim. Maybe someday we'll be together again. Maybe someday, maybe someday we'll be together again. Maybe someday, who knows? Life is worth living.
state secret?
Yes, a state secret. Promise?
As President of the United States, I promise, cross my heart, and hope to die. Now, let me see now. How are we going to keep it a secret?
Well, Ted, you go back down to the cellar. When I turn out the lights and it's all dark, you come up and take the poor man down to the canal. Now, go along, Teddy.
Then we'll come down later.
Funny, we've never had a yellow fever victim in the window seat before.
Martha, when Jonathan and Dr. Einstein come back, let's try to get them to go to bed right away.
Good, and then right after that we can take something down to the services.
You know, he's really very nice looking, considering he's a Methodist.
Bring the bags to here.
Your room's waiting for you. You can go right out.
I'm afraid we don't keep roofing hours. You and Aunt Martha run along to bed.
Oh, you must be very tired, both of you. And we don't go to bed this early.
Well, you should.
No, we're really not ready to go to bed now.
Aunt Martha, did you hear me say, go to bed? Now then, we're all going to bed.
I'll wait until you're up, and then I'll turn out the lights.
Run along, Aunt Martha. Come along, Doctor. Close the window. I wouldn't want anybody to catch their depth of cold. This way, Doctor. Now, Aunt Abby.
I'll be right up.
Now, Aunt Abby, turn out the lights.
Complete insubordination.
Johnny.
Okay, Doctor. Now you go around and hand him through.
No, he's too heavy for me. You go around and push him in, and I pull. Together we get him down to Panama.
All right. Now, when I tap on the glass, you know that I'm there.
That was me, Johnny. I slipped.
Be more careful.
Shoe came off. Okay, I got him, Johnny. I got him. Johnny, somebody at the door. Go quick.
What are you doing here?
I came over to see Miss Abby and Miss Martha.
Turn on the lights, Doctor. I think you chose a rather untimely moment for a social call.
I think you'd better explain what you're doing here.
We happen to live here.
No, you don't. I'm over here every day, and I've never seen you before. Where are Miss Abby and Miss Martha?
Perhaps I better introduce ourselves. This is Dr. Einstein. Somewhat of a great distinction and somewhat of a magician.
I suppose you're going to tell me you're Boris
I'm Jonathan Brewster.
You're Jonathan.
I see you've heard of me.
It's just this afternoon for the first time.
And what did they say about
Just
me?
that there was another brother named Jonathan. Well, that explains everything. I'll just be running along back home, if you'll kindly let me.
That explains everything? What did you mean by that? Why did you come here this time of night?
I thought I saw someone prowling around the house.
You thought you saw someone prowling around the house? What else did you see?
I saw someone at the car.
You saw someone at the car?
Just walking around the house to the car.
What else did you see?
Nothing, that's all.
What else did you see?
No, I just wanted to tell Miss Abby to call the police, but if that was you and that's your car,
I think you're lying.
I think she tells the truth, Johnny.
I think she's lying, breaking into a house this time of night. I think she's dangerous. She shouldn't be allowed around loose.
Take your hands off me!
It's going to be a private funeral, bless you. Well, of course. That's my daughter, Alice. The cellar. Hurry before she wakes everybody up. Hurry, Doctor.
What are you doing?
We caught the burglar. Sneak thief. Go back to your room.
Oh, we'll call the police.
I called the police. Go back to your room.
What took you so long?
Mortimer, where have you been?
The Nora Bay's Theater, and I should have known better. My God, I'm still there.
It's Brother Jonathan, dear, and this is Dr. Einstein.
I know this isn't a nightmare, but what is it?
I've come back home, Mortimer.
Who did you say this was?
Your brother, Jonathan? He's had his face changed. Dr. Einstein performed the operation.
Jonathan, you always were a horror, but you have to look like one?
Easy, Johnny. Easy.
Mortimer, do you remember the things I used to do to you when we were boys? The needles under the fingernails?
Oh, my God, it is Jonathan. Yes, I remember. I remember you as the most detestable, vicious, venomous form of animal life I ever knew.
Now, don't you two boys start quarreling again the minute you've seen each other.
There won't be any fight, Aunt Abby. Jonathan, you're not wanted here. Get out.
Dr. Einstein and I have been invited to stay.
Not in this house.
Just for tonight.
All right. Where are they sleeping?
We put them in Jonathan's old room.
Oh, no, that's my room. I'm here to stay.
Oh, thank goodness, Mortimer.
Johnny, we sleep down here, yeah?
You bet your life you sleep down here.
You sleep on the sofa, and I sleep on the window seat.
The window seat? Oh, well, the window seat. I'll sleep on the window seat.
You know, Johnny, all this argument makes me think of Mr. Spinalzo.
Spinalzo. Well now, Mortimer, it really isn't necessary to inconvenience you like this. We'll sleep down here tonight.
Jonathan, your sudden consideration for me is very unconvincing.
Come along, Johnny. We go up. Yeah.
Don't bother, Doctor.
Doctor, I completely lost track of Mr. Spinalzo.
Who's this Mr. Spinalzo?
Just a friend of Johnny's he's been looking for.
Well, don't bring anyone else in here.
Come along, Johnny. I'll tell you all about it on the way.
Well, you don't have to sleep down here. I'll go in Aunt Martha's room and you can take my room.
That's all right, Aunt Abby. We'll be packed in a few minutes, and then, Mortimer, you can have the room.
You're wasting your time. I told you I'm sleeping down here.
Oh, Mortimer,
What's the matter, darling?
I've almost been killed.
You've almost been... Abby, Martha!
No, he's some kind of maniac, Mortimer. I'm afraid of him.
Darling, you're trembling. Have you got any smelling salts?
No, but maybe some tea or coffee.
Oh, coffee. Make some for me, too. And some sandwiches. I haven't had yet.
I'll make something for Father.
You know what time it is? 12. Look, Elaine, you gotta go home. You gotta go home right now. Come on.
To celebrate your engagement, we thought we'd perhaps make a nice little supper for you, or something, and perhaps, I know, a nice bottle of wine.
All right. No, wine.
death. You want to chase me home again. Now listen, Mr. Brewster, before I go anywhere, I want to know where I stand.
Let's talk about the weather. Let's talk about trivial things. Let's not talk weather. We will never exchange dreams. Let's talk about the winter, the summer, the spring, and the fall. Or if you like, we needn't talk at all.
Don't know what it is about you that I like so much. Don't know what it is about you, but I like your touch. Let them say what they will, I'm sure I will still feel this way, as I always will. Don't know what it is about you that I like so much. Don't know what it is about you, but I like your touch. I am wrong, right or wrong, I will always tag along. I don't know what it is, but I think it's love.
Let's talk about the weather.
Don't know what it is about you that I like so much.
Let's not talk of weather.
Don't know what it is about you that I
Never
like so
exchange
much.
dreams. Let's talk of you and me, darling. But let's make it last. Let's not talk of the future. Let's talk of the past.
Tomorrow, don't know what it is about you that I like so much. Don't know what it is about you that I like your touch. Right or wrong, right or wrong, I want you to tag along. I don't know what it is, but I think it's. I don't know what it is, but I think it's. I don't know what it is, but I think it's love.
Look, Elaine. I love you very much. As a matter of fact, I love you so much, I can't marry you.
Have you suddenly gone crazy?
No, but it's only a matter of time. You see, insanity runs in my family. It practically gallops. That's why I can't marry you, dear.
Now you're gonna have to do better than that.
You know, there's a strange taint in the Brewster blood.
Just because Teddy's a
It
little...
goes way back. The first Brewster, the one that came over on the Mayflower. In those days, the Indians used to scout the settlers. He used to scout the Indians.
Oh, Mortimer, that's ancient history.
And then there's Grandfather. He used to try his patent medicines out on dead people to make sure he wouldn't kill them.
But he wasn't so crazy, he made $1 million.
And then there's Jonathan. You just said he was a maniac. He tried to strangle you.
But he's your brother, not you. I'm in love with you.
And then there's Teddy. You know Teddy. He thinks he's Roosevelt. No, dear, no Brewster should marry. I've come to the conclusion that if I'd met my father in time, I'd have stopped.
But look at your aunts. They're Brewsters, aren't they? The sanest, sweetest people I've ever known.
Well, even they have their little peculiarities.
Oh, but what lovely peculiarities. Kindness, generosity, human sympathy.
There's another one.
There's plenty of others. You can't tell me anything about your aunt.
I'm not going to. Look, Elaine, you've got to go home. I know I'm acting irrationally, but just put it down to the fact that I'm a mad Brewster.
Now, if you think you're going to get out of this by pretending you're insane, you're crazy. You may not be going to marry me, but I'm going to marry you. I love you, you dope.
Well, if you love me, will you get the hell out of here?
Well, at least want me home, won't you? I'm afraid.
Hey, the little walk through the cemetery?
Will you kiss me tonight?
Of course, dear. Run along home, dear. I'll call you up in a day or so.
You critic.
Elaine!
Let's talk about the weather. Let's talk about trivial things.
Aunt Abby, Aunt Martha, come in here.
We'll be in a minute.
Come in here now.
Here, where's Elaine?
I thought you said you weren't going to let anyone in this house while I was gone. I'm not talking about Jonathan.
And Dr. Einstein.
I'm not talking about Dr. Einstein. Who is that in the window seat?
Who told you, Mr. Hoskins?
This is not Mr. Hoskins.
Really?
Now, Aunt Abby, are you trying to tell me you've never seen this man before?
Well, I certainly am. This is a fine how do you do. It's getting so just anybody thinks he can walk into this house.
Now, Aunt Abby, don't try to get out of this. This is another one of your gentlemen.
Now, Mortimer, how can you say such a thing? That man's an imposter. And if he came here to be buried in our cellar, he's mistaken.
Aunt Abby, you told me that you put Mr. Hoskins in the window seat.
Yes, I did.
Well, this man couldn't have just gotten the idea from Mr. Hoskins. By the way, where is Mr. Hoskins?
Oh, he must have gone to Panama.
Oh, you buried him?
Oh, no, not yet. He's just down there waiting. Oh, dear. We always wanted to hold a double funeral. But I will not read services over a total stranger.
A stranger? Abby, how can I believe you? There are 12 men in the cellar, and you admit that you poisoned them.
Oh, yes, I did. But you don't think I'd stoop to telling a fib.
Martha and Abby!
Oh, Mortimer. I'd like to have a word with you.
A word's about all you'll have time for. Jonathan, because I've decided you and your doctor friend are going to have to get out of this house just as quickly as possible.
I'm glad you recognize the fact that you and I can't live underneath the same roof. But you arrived at the wrong solution. Get out.
Jonathan, you're beginning to bore me. You played your one-night stand in Brooklyn. Move on.
Just because you've graduated from the back fence to the typewriter, don't think you've grown up. I'm staying and you're leaving, and I mean now.
If you think that I can be frightened, if you think that there's anything that I'm afraid of...
Mortimer, I have led a strange life, but it's taught me one thing, to be afraid of nothing.
Martha, you just come and look and see what's in that window seat.
And now I'm Abby.
Jonathan, show Aunt Martha what's in the window. And Abby, I owe you an apology. But I have some very good news for you. Jonathan is leaving, and he's taking his cold companion with him. Jonathan, I'm going to give you a chance to get away and take the evidence with you. Can't ask for more than that. Very well, in that case, I'll have to call the police.
Don't touch that phone. Are you still giving me orders after seeing what's happened to Spinalzo?
Spinalzo? You know he was a foreigner.
What happened to Mr. Spinalzo can happen to you, too.
Hello.
Oh, Mr. O'Hara! Is there something we can do for you?
I saw your lights on and thought there might be sickness in the house. Oh, you have company. I'm sorry.
Come in.
Come in, Officer O'Hara. Come in. This is our nephew, Mortimer.
Pleased to meet you.
And another nephew, Jonathan.
Pleased to make your acquaintance. Well, it must be nice having your nephews visiting with you. Are they going to be staying for a bit?
Oh, I'm staying. My brother Jonathan was just leaving.
I've seen you here before, haven't I?
Oh, I'm afraid not. Jonathan hasn't been home in years.
Perhaps I've seen a photograph of you somewhere.
I don't think so.
Yes, I'd hurry if I were you. Your bags are all packed anyway, aren't they?
Well, you'll be wanting to say your goodbyes. I'll be running along.
Oh, what's your rush? I'd like you to stick around until my brother's gone. We were just getting ready to have some coffee, and you can join us.
All about the cold, yes. I'll make some sandwiches for you, and I'll make a few more. I know your appetite, Officer O'Hara.
That's not really necessary. I'm due to ring in a few.
No, my brother should be gone any minute. You can have some coffee with us. Why don't you have a seat?
Are you sure I've not seen a photograph of your brother around here somewhere?
He looks like somebody you'd see in the movies.
I never go to the movies. I hate them. My mother says the movies is a bastard art.
Yeah, it's full of them. Your mother said that, huh?
Yes, my mother was an actress, a stage actress. Perhaps you've heard of her. Peaches Latour?
Well, it sounds like a name I've seen on a program. What did she play?
She played in Mutt and Jet for 3 years. I was born on tour the third season.
Oh, really?
Yep, Sioux City, Iowa. I was born at the end of the second act, and Mother made the finale.
What a trooper. Say, there must be quite a story in your mother. You know, I write about the theater.
You do? Say, you're not the Mortimer Brewster, the dramatic critic, are you?
Yes.
Well, I certainly am glad to meet you. You know, Mr. Brewster, you and I are in the same line of work.
We are?
Yeah, I'm a playwright. All this being on the police force is merely temporary.
Oh, really? How long have you been on the force?
12 years. I'm collecting material for a play.
I'll bet it's a honey.
Well, it ought to be with all the drama I see being a cop. Mr. Brewster, you have no idea what goes on in Brooklyn.
I think I have.
What time have you got?
2 after 1.
Gee, I've got to ring in.
Oh, O'Hara, no, on that play of yours, I may be able to help you.
You would? Say it's fake, my walking in here. Just a minute and let me tell you the plot.
Oh, no, I don't think that's necessary. Oh, you're leaving, are you? Well, you better hurry. You haven't got much time, you know.
Well, John, really? Goodbye. Goodbye, Dr. Einstein. Oh, doesn't this case belong to you?
Yes, you can't leave without taking everything with you. Oh, well, O'Hara, it was nice meeting you. We'll get together and talk about that play,
I'm not
okay?
leaving now, Mr. Brewster.
Why not?
Well, you just promised to help me write my play with me, didn't you? You and me are going to write my play together.
O'Hara, I can't do that. I'm not a creative writer.
I'll do the creating. You just put it to words.
O'Hara, you don't understand. That was
No, Mr. Brewster, I'm not leaving until I tell you the plot.
In that case, Mortimer, we'll be running along.
Don't try that. You can't leave without taking all of your things. Oh, look, O'Hara, why don't we get together someplace later, okay? Right this way.
Oh, I'm a little late.
Don't be a minute here. O'Hara, would you like to join us in the kitchen for some sandwiches? Sure, come on. You're going into the kitchen. Come on.
Nothing's leaving.
Jonathan, I'm glad you came back to Brooklyn, because it gives me a chance to throw you out. And the first one out is your boyfriend, Mr. Spinalza.
Say, Mr. Brewster, we can talk in here.
Coming right out.
I might have known you'd grow up to write a play with a policeman.
Get going now. The three of you.
Stop. This affair between my brother and me has got to be settled.
Johnny, your brother gives us a chance to get away. We leave now, yeah?
No, you don't understand. This goes back a good many years.
Johnny, let's get going.
Doctor.
Johnny, please.
No, Doctor. We're going to take care of Mortimer. We'll dump Mr. Spinalza in the bay.
Come on, Johnny, please. We can't stay here with the cop in the kitchen and Mr. Spinalza in the window.
That's all he's got on us. Then when Mortimer leaves, we'll dump him in the bay, and if he comes back here and tries to interfere, well...
Wait, listen, if we're going to come back here, we don't need these bags, huh?
No, hide them in the cellar. Hurry, Doctor. Mr. Spinalza can go the same way he came in.
Johnny, come quick.
What?
You know that hole in the cellar?
Yes?
We got an ace in the hole.
Jonathan? Jonathan? Jonathan?
Yes, Mortimer.
Where have you two been? I thought I told you to get out of here.
We're not going.
Do you want Officer O'Hara to see what's in the window seat?
We're staying here.
Very well. Officer O'Hara, would you come in here for a moment?
If you tell O'Hara what's in the window seat, I'll tell him what's down in the cellar.
Cellar?
There's an elderly gentleman down there who seems to be very dead.
What were you two doing in the cellar?
What's he doing in the cellar?
Okay, John, they were fine. I've had plenty.
Now, what were you going to say to O'Hara?
Look, Mr. Brewster, your aunt's going to do the plot, too. Shall I get them in here?
No. O'Hara, you've got to ring in.
The hell with ringing in. I'll get your answer in here.
No, not in front of all these people. We'll get together someplace later where we can be alone.
How about the back room at Kelly's?
Fine. You go ring in and I'll meet you at Kelly's.
Why don't you two go down into the cellar?
That's all right with me. It's just
No! Kelly's is fine. We'll meet there, but we've got to ring in on the way, right?
Okay, but that'll only take a couple of minutes.
Fine. I'll ditch this guy and be back in 5 minutes. I expect to find you two gone. Wait for me.
Yes, we'll wait for him, Doctor. I've waited a good many years for a chance like this.
We got him right where we want him. If he looks guilty.
Doctor, take the bags back up to our room.
They gone? Oh, we thought we heard somebody leave.
It was just Mortimer, and he'll be back. Is there any food left in the kitchen?
You won't have time to eat. No, if you're still here when Mortimer comes back, he won't like it.
He'll like it. He's gotta like it.
Get something for us to eat while we bury Spinalza in the cellar.
Oh, he can't stay in our cellar. You'll have to take him with you.
There's a friend of Mortimer's in the cellar. He and Mr. Spinalza will fit fine together. They're both dead.
He must mean Mr. Hoskins.
Mr. Hoskins?
You know about what's down in the cellar?
Where's we? He's no friend of Mortimer's. He's one of our gentlemen.
You're a gentleman?
We won't let any strangers be buried in our cellar.
Besides, Besides, there isn't room for Mr. Spinazzo down there. The cellar's crowded already, and we're going to need it.
Crowded with what?
Well, there are 12 people down there now.
12 graves.
Yes, and that doesn't leave very much room. We're going to need it.
You mean you and Aunt Martha have murdered?
Murder? Why, certainly not. What we've done of our charities. That is a mercy. So we'll just have to take your Mr. Spinazzo out of here.
You mean you've done that here in this house, and you've buried them down there?
Johnny, we've chased all over the world, and the old lady's there right here. You're just as good as you do.
What?
Well, they got 12 and you got 12.
I've got 13.
No, Johnny, 12.
13. There's Mr. Spinazzo, the 2 in Johannesburg, the 2 in South Africa, the 3 in Spain where I took the tango lessons, the 1 in Phoenix, the filling station, the 3 in Chicago, and the 1 in South Bend. That's 13.
No, Johnny, the one in South Bend don't count. He died of pneumonia.
He wouldn't have died of pneumonia if I hadn't shot him.
No, Johnny, he died of pneumonia. He don't count.
He counts with me. I say 13.
No, Johnny, 12. You've got 12 and they've got 12. The old ladies are just as good as you are.
Oh, they are they? Well, all I need is 1 more. That's all, just 1 more.
Well, here I am.
No, thank you. Yeah, he was right here for. That's fine.
Yellow fever, that's no
Mortimer, come back here. No. The terrible thing to do, to bury a good Methodist in with a foreigner.
I will not have my cellar desecrated!
We Mr. Hoskins, a full Methodist funeral. Where do you suppose Mortimer went?
ago, but it's something to do with Jonathan because he said, you just wait until I settle this. I'll settle this.
Can't settle it when he's not in the house. That's all we want settled. What's going on down there?
All right, now, where's Teddy?
Oh, Mortimer, where have you been?
Over to Dr. Gilchrist. I've got his signature on Teddy's commitment paper.
Mortimer, what is the matter with you?
Running around having papers signed at a time.
Do you know what Jonathan is doing in the cellar?
He's putting Mr. Hoskins and Mr. Spinalzo in together.
Oh, he is he? We'll let him. There's Teddy in his room.
Oh, he won't be any help.
When he signs these papers, I can tackle Jonathan.
Well, what have they got to do?
You had to go and tell Jonathan about those 12 graves. If I can make Teddy responsible for those, I can protect you. Don't you see?
Oh, I don't see. But anyway, we pay taxes to have the police protect us.
I'll be back down in a minute.
Martha, we're going for the police.
All right. The police! You can't go for the police!
Why not?
Because if you tell the police about Mr. Spinalzo, they find out about Mr. Hoskins, too. And that might make them curious, and then they find out about your other 12 gentlemen.
Oh, Mortimer, we know the police better than you.
I'm sure they wouldn't pry into our private affairs if we asked them not to.
But if they found your 12 gentlemen, they'd have to report to headquarters.
Oh, there's no worry about that. Then they'd have to write a long report, and if there's anything a policeman hates to do, it's to write it.
But you can't depend on that. It might leak out. And you can't expect the judge and jury to understand.
Judge Coleman won't.
We know it very well. Come along, Martha.
No! You can't do this. You can't leave this out. I won't let you.
You're not going to do anything about Mr. Spinalzo. We are.
I am going to do something. We may have to call the police in later, but if we do, I want to be ready for them.
Mortimer, I want Jonathan out of this house. And Mr. Spinalzo, too.
Will you please let me do this my own way? I've got to see Teddy.
Well, Mortimer, if they're not out of this house by morning, we're going to call the police.
They'll be out. I promise you. Go to bed, will you?
That's a relief, isn't it, Abby?
Martha, if Mortimer's going to do something real,
At last. That just means that Jonathan's gone to a lot of unnecessary trouble.
we better tell him. Oh, Jonathan, you can stop what you're doing.
It's all done. Did I hear Mortimer?
Well, you just have to be undone. You'll all be out of the house by morning. Mortimer promised.
Oh, are we? In that case, you and Aunt Martha can go to bed.
Abby, come on.
Good night, aunties.
Not good night, Jonathan. Goodbye. By the time we get up in the morning, you'll be out of the house. Mortimer promised.
And he has a way of doing it, too.
Then Mortimer's back.
Yes, he's up there talking to Teddy now. Goodbye, John. Goodbye, Jonathan.
Perhaps you better say goodbye to Mortimer.
Oh, you'll see Mortimer.
Yes, I'll see Mortimer.
Small fixer. Smooth as a lake. Boy, the house is falling down. Oh, nobody would ever know they're down there. Oh, Johnny, 48 hours you get to sleep because now, yeah?
Doctor, you're forgetting. My brother Mortimer.
Oh, Johnny, forget about him. I'm tired. Let's go up, yeah?
No, tonight, now.
No, Johnny, I got to operate tomorrow, not tonight.
Yes, you're operating tomorrow, Doctor, but tonight we take care of Mortimer.
No, Johnny, not tonight.
Doctor, look at me. You can see it's going to be done, can't you?
Yeah, I know that look. I can see.
It's a little too late for us to dissolve our partnership.
Okay, but the quick way, the quick twist like in London, yeah?
No, Doctor. I think this calls for something special. I think perhaps the Melbourne method.
No, Johnny, not Melbourne. No, when it's over, 2 hours. And when it's over, the fellow in Melbourne was just as dead as the fellow in London.
In London, we had to work too fast. It had no aesthetic satisfaction in it. But Melbourne, now there's something to remember.
Remember? I wish I didn't. No, Johnny, not Melbourne, not me.
Yes, Doctor, get your instruments.
No, Johnny, I won't do it.
Yes, Doctor, where are your instruments?
No, Johnny, no, I won't.
Where did you hide them? In the cellar, where?
I won't tell you.
I'll find them, Doctor.
Don't do that, Mr. President!
But I must call a cabinet meeting before I sign any proclamation.
But this must be a secret.
A secret proclamation? How unusual.
Japan must know it's with son.
Japan! Those yellow devils! I'll sign it immediately.
Yes, let's go and sign it.
No. A secret proclamation must be signed in secret.
But at once, Mr. President.
I'll put on my signing clothes. Hold this. Thank you.
You go now, yeah?
No, Doctor, I'm waiting for something. Something important.
Please, you get it quick.
Look, Dr. Einstein, you seem to be a nice enough fellow. Take my advice and get out of this house and get just as far away as possible.
Trouble, yeah. Listen, you get away.
All right, don't say I didn't warn you.
I'm warning you.
Things are going to start popping around here any minute now.
Listen, Johnny's in a bad mood. When he's like this, he's a madman. Things happen. Terrible things.
Jonathan doesn't worry me now.
Listen, don't those people in those plays teach you anything?
About what?
Well, at least they act like they got some sense that's more than what you're doing.
Oh, you think the people in plays act like they have some sense? They act intelligently. Take the little opus I saw tonight, for instance. In this play, there's a man. He's in a house full of murderers. He's even been warned to get out of the house. But does he go? No. He stays there. Now, I ask you, is that what an intelligent person would do, Doctor?
You're asking me?
He doesn't even have sense enough to be on guard, to be frightened. The murderer invites him to sit down.
You mean, won't you sit down?
Believe it or not, that one was in there, too.
And what did he do?
He sat down, just waiting to be trussed up. What do you think they used to time?
That.
The curtain cord.
Well, why not? Very convenient.
A little too convenient. The curtain cord. When are the playwrights going to start using some imagination?
Didn't he see him yet?
See him? He sat there with his back to him. They say the critics are killing the theater. It's the playwrights that are killing the theater. Anyway, so there he sits, this big dope, this fellow who's supposed to be smart, just waiting to be trussed up and gagged. Hey, Doctor, what are you doing? Wait a second. Jonathan, you better...
I'll get that doctor. Get his feet. Now, Mortimer, I'll finish the story. Mortimer, I've been away for 20 years, and never once in all that time, my dear brother, were you out of my mind. In Melbourne one night, I dreamt of you. When I landed in San Francisco, I felt a strange satisfaction that once again I was in the same country with you. Now, Doctor, we go to work.
Yeah, the quick way, yeah, Johnny?
No, Doctor. I think this calls for an artistic achievement. After all, we're performing before a very distinguished critic.
All right. Let's get it over with.
Doctor? All ready for you, Doctor.
I got to have a drink. I can't do it without a drink.
Pull yourself together, Doctor.
I got to have a drink. When we came in here, the old lady had some wine. What did she do? Here it is. That's all there is. I spit it. We both need a drink.
Wait a minute, Doctor. Please. Where are your manners? Mortimer, I realize now it was you that brought me back to Brooklyn. Doctor, to my dear dead brother. Stand back, idiot! He goes next. He goes next!
Not Teddy. No, that's very sharp. Not Teddy. Not
We
Teddy.
get to Teddy later.
No, we don't get to Teddy at all.
Now we've got to work fast.
The quick way, John. The quick way.
Yes, Doctor. The quick way!
Oh, gotta quit blowing that hard.
It's all right, officer. We're taking the bugle away from him. It's all right.
It's going to be hell to pay in the morning.
It's all right, officer. Good night. We'll take care of it. Good night.
I better speak with him myself. Where are the lights? Hey, you stood me up. I waited an hour for your Kelly.
He's telling us about the play, so that's what happened to the fellow in the play.
Did that happen to the fellow in the play? Gee, they practically stole that from the second act of my play. You see, in the second act, just before the... No, I'd better begin at the beginning. It opens in my mother's dressing room where I was born, only I haven't been born yet. Huh? Oh, yes.
Thanks, I really need it.
No, you've got to hear the plot.
What?
Well, she's sitting there making up, see. When all of a sudden the door bursts open and in come women in trench coats. She doesn't realize she's about to witness the worst invasion of the Andrews sisters that she has ever seen. The chink is standing over her with a hatchet. I'm tied up in the chair, just like you are. The place is an inferno. It's on fire. When all of a sudden, in through the window comes Mayor LaGuardia. Hey, go easy on that. Remember who paid for it.
Well, I'm listening, I.
Well, what do you think about it so far?
Well, it puts Johnny to sleep.
Let him alone. If he ain't got no more interest in it than that, he don't get a drink. All right, it's 3 days later and I've been transferred. I'm under charges. That's because somebody stole my badge. I'm walking my beat on Staten Island, 46th precinct. When all of a sudden, a guy I'm following, turns out he's really following me. Don't let anybody in. There's a vacant house on the corner. I figures out I'm smart. I goes inside.
It's a cop.
I stands there in the dark and I see the door handle turn.
It's a cop.
I braces myself and I close my guns and I says, come in. Hello, boys.
What the hell's going on here?
Hey, Pat, what do you know? This is Mortimer Brewster. He's helping me mark my play. I'm just telling him the story.
Did you have to tie him up to make him listen?
Joe, you better report it to the station. The whole force is out looking for you.
Did they send you here looking
We
for
didn't
me?
even know you was here.
Came to one of the old ladies at this health page. The corner blew the bugle again. The lieutenant says the corner's got to be put away someplace.
Yes.
Hey, Mr. Brewster. I just have to run through the third act real quick.
Get away from me.
Say, do you know that it's after 8 o'clock in the morning?
It is? Say, Mr. Brewster,
That first 2 acts run just a little long, but I don't see a thing we can leave out.
You can leave it all out.
Who the hell's that guy?
Oh, that's my brother.
Oh, the one that ran away?
Yeah, he came back.
This is supposed to get me Mac. I better let him know we found you, Joe. Mac, how are you? Listen, tell the lieutenant he can call off the big manhunt. We got him. In the Brewster house. Do you want us to bring him in? Oh, all right. We'll hold him right here. Lieutenant says he's on his way over.
So, I've been turned in, eh? And I suppose you and that state-agent brother of mine will split the reward.
Reward?
Now, I'll do some turning in. You think my aunts are sweet, charming old ladies, don't you? Well, there happens to be 13 bodies buried in the cellar.
Teddy, what the hell are you talking about?
Be careful what you're saying about your aunt. They happen to be friends of ours.
13 bodies in the cellar. Come on down. I'll show you. I'll prove it to you.
Yeah?
Don't you want to go down in the cellar?
Go on down the cellar with him, eh?
I'm not so sure I want to be in the cellar with him. I mean, look at him. He looks like Boris Karloff.
He does.
Hey, look out! Hey,
What do you think he's doing?
Well, what do you know about that?
Come in.
What the hell are you men doing here? I told you I was going to handle this.
Well,
What's the matter with him? Did he put up a fight?
This ain't the guy that blows the bugle. This is his brother. He tried to kill Clark.
all I said was he looked like Boris Karloff.
Turn him over. Turn him over.
We kind of think he's won somewhere.
Oh, you kind of think he's won somewhere? Certainly he's won somewhere. He won in Indiana. He escaped from a prison for the criminal insane. For God's sakes, that's just how they described him. He looked like Karloff.
Was there a reward mentioned?
Yeah, and I'm claiming it.
He was trying to get stopped cellar.
He said there were 13 bodies buried there.
13 bodies buried in the cellar, and that didn't tip you off. He came out of some kind of nut house.
I thought all along he talked kind of crazy.
Well, it's Shakespeare. Where have you been all night long? And you needn't bother to tell me.
I've been right here writing my play with Mortimer Brewster.
You don't have plenty of time to write that play. You're suspended. Now get back and report in right now.
Hey, Lieutenant, can I come over sometime and use the station?
Now get out of here. And you get that guy out of here and bring him to. And find out what you know he knows about his accomplice. The guy that helped him escape. He's wanted too. No wonder Brooklyn's in the shape he's in. A bunch of flatheads on the police force like you. 13 bodies in the cellar. Get him out of here.
There are 13 bodies in the cellar.
Who are you?
I'm President Roosevelt.
What the hell is this? Good morning, Twiddle. Colonel, you blowing your last bugle.
What's this? Another yellow fever victim.
What?
All the victims in the cellar are yellow fever victims.
Get that guy out of here.
Why we caught in the White House?
A spy in the White House. Well, if there's any question of spies, that's my department.
You stay out of this.
As President of the United States of America, I'm also in charge of the Secret Service.
Get him out of here.
Keller! I'm Mortimer.
Are you sure?
I'd like to talk to you about my brother Teddy, the one who blew the bugle.
We ain't gonna do no talking. He's got to be put away.
Oh, it's all arranged for. I've had these commitment papers drawn up by our family physician. You see, Teddy signed them, and I've signed him as next of kin.
Where's he going?
Happy Day.
I don't care where he goes, as long as he goes.
Oh, he's going all right. But I'd like you to understand that everything that's happened in this house, Teddy's responsible for. Now, those 13 bodies...
Yeah, those 13 bodies in the cellar. Can you imagine if that cockeyed story ever got around? And now he's starting a yellow fever scare.
13 bodies. Do you ever think anyone would believe such a story?
You never know. Some crazy gal in Greenport starts a murder rumor. And I spent half a day just digging up an acre wide, just to prove it.
Excuse me a moment.
Good morning, Mortimer.
Good morning, Elaine.
This is Mr. Witherspoon. He's come to meet Teddy.
Meet Teddy.
Mr. Witherspoon is the superintendent of Happydale.
Oh, come in, come in. This is Captain...
Lieutenant Rudy, and I'm glad you're here, Superintendent, because he's going with you today.
Today? I didn't know that. Look, Elaine, I've got some business to attend to, so why don't you run along home, okay?
Well, I had no idea it was that immediate.
Complete insubordination! You men will find I'm no mollycoddle.
There's your man, Superintendent, right
Just
there.
a moment. Mr. President, I have some very good news for you. Your term of office is over.
It's March the 4th already?
Practically.
Let me see now. Oh, I start my hunting trip to Africa. I shall prepare at once. He's trying to move into the White House before I'm gone.
Teddy?
Tap!
Teddy, this is Mr. Witherspoon. He's to be your guide on your trip to Africa.
Bully, bully. That's just bully. I shall get my equipment at once. Oh, if the safari comes, tell them to wait. Aunt Martha, Aunt Abby, I'm on my way to Africa.
Good morning, darlings.
Oh,
Aunt Martha.
we have visitors.
Yes, this is Lieutenant Rooney.
Oh, how do you do, Lieutenant? Oh, my. You don't look like the first budget the policemen say you are.
Well, while the lieutenant is here, you know Teddy blew his bugle again last night.
Oh, we're going to talk to him about that.
It's a little more serious than that, Miss Brewster.
And this is Mr. Witherspoon. He's the superintendent of Happy Day.
Mr. Witherspoon, how do you do?
You've come to see Teddy.
He's come to take Teddy.
Aunties, the police want Teddy to go there today.
Not while we're alive.
Sorry, Miss Brewster, but he's going.
Well, we won't permit it. Why, we just won't permit it.
Well, we'll take his bugle away from you.
We won't be separated from Teddy.
I'm sorry, he's committed himself and he's going.
Well, if he goes, then we're going too.
Yes, you'll have to take us right along with him.
Well, why not, Mr. Witherspoon?
That's sweet of them to want to, but it's impossible. You see, you don't take sane people at Happy Day.
If we can go with Teddy, why, we would be delighted to include Happy Day in our will, and for a very generous amount.
Well, the Lord knows we could use the money.
Now, let's be sensible about this, because here I am, a busy man. I mean, there's serious work to be done in Brooklyn. I mean, there's still murders to be solved in this town.
Yes.
Oh,
are there?
Yeah. I mean, sooner or later, I'll be put to the task of digging up that cellar down there.
Our cellar?
Your nephew sprayed some kind of rumor. There's 13 bodies buried down there.
Oh, well, there are 13 bodies now. Oh, that's why you think you have to take Teddy away. Why, come down to the cellar and we'll prove it to
Now,
you.
there's one, Mr. Spinaldo, doesn't belong there, and he'll have to leave.
I don't think the lieutenant wants to go down in the cellar. He was just telling me that last year he had to dig up a half-acre lot.
That's right,
Oh,
yeah.
well, you won't have to dig here. The graves are all marked. We put flowers on them every Sunday.
Flowers! Superintendent, don't you think you can find room for these two ladies?
Come along and we'll show you the graves.
I'll take your word for it. I'm a busy man. I'll take your word for it.
Would we have to be committed?
They'd have to be committed.
Teddy committed himself. Couldn't they commit themselves?
If we can go with Teddy, you just bring on the papers and we'll sign them.
Yes, Superintendent, get right to work.
He's coming around, Lieutenant.
Oh, so, Mr. Klein.
Right. And, you right here and...
Me and Brooke got to the nephew out in the kitchen.
I'm really
Sign them up real quick here, Superintendent. We'll get this thing cleaned up as neatly as possible.
This neighbor's just changed. You know, they will have a green lawn again.
Oh, we're overlooking something.
What?
Well, we have to have the signature of a doctor.
Oh. Dr. Einstein, would you come over? There's some papers I'd like you to sign. At one point last night, I thought the doctor was going to operate on me. Just come right over, doctor. Just sign, right?
I think I must.
Well, you're leaving, Doc.
I think I must go.
Aren't you going to wait for Jonathan?
I don't think we're going to the same place.
Stick around, will you? Don't worry, I'm going to.
Hello, Mac. Rudy here. Yeah, look, we've got that loony bird escaped in Indiana. Now, there's a description of his accomplice. It's lying right on my desk there. I want you to get it read to me. Yeah, that's it. 5'6", in his 40s, 140 pounds, talks with a German accent, poses as a doctor. Thanks, Mac.
It's all right, Lieutenant. The doctor has completed the signatures.
Thanks, Doc. You done Brooklyn a service.
Yeah.
Mr. Brewster, if you would sign now as next of kin.
Oh, yes, of course. Let's see, right here.
That's fine.
And here. And this makes everything legal?
Oh, yes.
Well, aunties, now you're safe.
And when do you think you'll be ready to start?
Mr. Witherspoon, why don't you run upstairs and tell Teddy just to take long?
Upstairs?
Well, I'll show you.
No, Mortimer. You stay here, dear. We want to talk to you. Yes, Mr. Witherspoon, just upstairs and turn to the left.
Now that we're leaving Mortimer, this house will finally be yours.
Yes, we want you to live here now, dear.
Oh, no, Aunt Abby. This house is too full of memories.
But you've got to have a place where you and Elaine get married.
Now, wait a minute. That is very indefinite.
It's nothing of the kind. We're going to be married right away.
Mortimer, we're really very worried about something.
Now, darlings, you're going to love it at Happy Dale.
Oh, we're delighted about going to Happy Dale. That's not what is bothering us.
Mortimer, will they investigate those signatures?
Now, don't worry. They're not going to look up Dr. Einstein.
It's not his signature, dear. It's yours.
You see, you signed as next of kin.
Of course. Why not?
Well, we didn't want to tell you, but you're a grown man now, and Elaine should know. Well, dear, you're not really a Brewster.
You see, dear, your mother came to us as a cook, and you were born about 3 months afterwards. But she was such a good cook, and we didn't want to lose her, so Brother married her.
I'm not really Brewster?
Oh, but don't feel badly about it, dear.
Elaine.
Elaine, did you hear? Do you understand? I'm a bastard!
I think maybe I'd better get some breakfast going.
Oh, Mortimer's coming over to my house. Father's gone to Philadelphia, and Mortimer's going to have breakfast with me.
Yes, I need some coffee. I've had quite a night.
Oh, well, in that case, I should think you'd want to get to bed.
One moment, Witherspoon. Take this with you.
We won't need the wagon. My car's parked out front. Yes, he's going back to Indiana. There's someone there that wants to take care of him the rest of his life.
Oh, Jonathan, it's nice to know you have someplace to go. We're leaving, too. Yes, we're going to Happy Day.
And this house has seen the last of the Brewsters.
Oh, not unless Mortimer wants to live here.
I have a suggestion to make. Why don't you turn this property over to a church?
Why, we never thought of that.
After all, it should be part of a cemetery.
Come on, let's go on the business, man. Let's get him out of here.
Goodbye, aunties. Well, I can't better my record now, but neither can you. The score stands even. 12 to 12.
Oh, Jonathan, such a mean boy. He never could stand to have anyone do better than him. I wish there was some way we could show him he isn't so smart.
Does your family live with you in Happy Dale?
No, I have no family.
Well, I suppose everyone at Happy Dale a part of your family.
Well, I'm afraid you don't quite understand. You see, as head of the institution, I must remain quite aloof.
Oh, that must make it very lonely for you.
It does. But my duty is my duty.
Well, if Mr. Witherspoon won't join us for breakfast, I do think we could offer him a glass of elderberry wine.
Elderberry wine?
Yes, we make it ourselves.
Of course, in Happy Dale, our relationship will be much more formal. But here...
Maybe we should.
Maybe we shouldn't. Oh, maybe we could. Maybe we couldn't.
Maybe we should.
Maybe we shouldn't.
What do you think?
I don't know. One little sip, it'll be over. He'll be relieved. We'll be in clover. Maybe we should. Maybe we shouldn't. What do you think?
I don't know. It could be contested if we were arrested.
In a court of law?
Arsenic.
Oh, here it